approval of minutes for November 6th. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Gaffney. Any questions on them, guys? How they look? Good? Everything good? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-0-0. So we have, Brendan, your report?
Yes, do you have a copy of these, the minutes to sign?
I don't.
I will pass this one.
Actually, I do. We have
Sure?
it right here.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Just a quick, like to start the meetings with a quick maintenance update. Our staff has been working on completing the lights on the town common in preparation for the tree lighting. They've been working on the lights on the town common, Diorio Green, Simons Park, and on the town buildings, trees around the town buildings. And this week they began installing the seasonal wreaths that go up on town buildings, and otherwise preparing for the tree lighting. Also have been doing fall cleanups, have cleaned up Pine Glen, Fox Hill, Memorial, Marshall Simons prior to Thanksgiving, and this past weekend they worked on Francis Wyman, and they finished up field lining prior to the Thanksgiving game for the band, needed the practice field lined so they could be ready for their performance on Thanksgiving. And now that the Thanksgiving games have passed, they will be winterizing the field house at Varsity Field this week. And then I think that's it for now on that. As I informed everyone via email, our program coordinator, Jesse Hampson, has accepted a position with the Billerica Recreation Department. And our staff got together once we were notified and started delving out responsibilities, Jesse's responsibilities, so nothing will go unattended. And so everyone's getting acclimated with their new programs and events that they're taking on. We posted the position beginning last Monday, the 27th, and it will run until December the 9th. And then once that happens, we'll be reviewing applications and candidates, and then we'll begin interviewing shortly after that. And Jesse's last day is tomorrow, November 30th, and we wish her the best in her new adventure off into Billerica, and we wish her nothing but success.
Excellent. Just real quick, I would just like to say to Jessie, thank you for her service to the rec department. I know she's been, how long did she work for?
About 7 years.
Yeah, because she got on the same time I probably got on this board, so she's done a great job. Thank her for her service. Good luck in Billerica, and thank you for the service, and hope everything goes well in your future. Thank you. Anyone else have it?
Just a real quick comment. I agree. I hope Jesse enjoys her new position in Billerica. I have 2 grandchildren who live in Billerica, so hopefully they're going to participate in some of the programs that Jesse coordinates. And based upon everything that she did here in Burlington, I'm sure she'll be successful in Billerica.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yep, thank you. All right, Burlington players, I received an email a couple weeks back now from the operations manager with the players with an update on their bathroom renovation project that they have been looking at. So they received their first phase schematic design from their architect regarding reworking the bathrooms, and obviously it came in a little, the scope was a little bigger than they had expected. So I know they've reached out to the building department to discuss their options there, but also have their architect looking at similar cases as far as number of participants, that they can have in the building and the bathroom sizes and things like that. So, well, they're working on that, you know, working on the background stuff. Nothing's going on there. You know, they're carrying on with their plays, but they have, you know, said they'll keep us in touch. And I haven't heard anything from the building department yet. They usually reach out once they're having a discussion with the players on anything. You know, they'll reach out, so they make sure that we're included in any conversations. But as I mentioned, you know, nothing, they're not moving forward with anything until they get some clarification on some of the findings that they had. So as soon as I have more information, I will share it with you. You may recall a couple weeks ago that Emma, Jeff, and I, Emma Jones, our therapeutic rec specialist, Jeff DeSalvo, our assistant program coordinator, and myself attended a cost recovery program that was held regionally, and it was held up at the Concord Community Center in Concord, New Hampshire. The seminar was very enlightening and provided a lot of information on recovering the actual cost of programs, including direct and indirect costs, those costs that you don't think about, right? That everyone just kind of passes over, but including those in when you're really pricing a program, and not just pricing a program, taking a shot at a dartboard and saying, this seems like this is the right amount. It was, there's some really great case studies from across the country, small communities, large communities, even some private recreation facilities in the town of Napa, California, when they were ready to eliminate their recreation department altogether. And then they started diving into costs, and they realized that they had this hanging basket program on all the light posts downtown, and the city was subsidizing it to the tune of like $150,000 a year. And, you know, that should be, you know, a business expense, but the city was doing it, and the city was out there every day watering them and maintaining them and doing all that. And when they started to look at those costs, they realized, wow, we're really over-subsidizing this program. So, like I said, really good case studies. We also discussed, part of it was on doing a program audit and really looking at the programs we're offering and, you know, how they fit. Are we offering something just because we'd like to, we think it's nice? Are we offering something because it's meeting a need in the community? Are we offering too many of certain things? Are we not offering enough of other things? So that's something that we'll undertake as a staff. And as we, you know, head into the end of this year, we start working on a budget. I know we're planning discussions to implement some of the cost recovery measures in 2024, and we'll be meeting as a group with our program division to look at ways to implement some of those ideas. So, like with a lot of work, especially, you know, budgeting and financial things, there's no finish line to this. This is ongoing, and will be, you know, once it's adopted fully by our department, will be something that we'll continue with going forward. But I think it will set up the department to be successful for years into the future, you know, beyond our time, that's for sure. So it was very good. I went into it, you know, with a semi-open mind, would you say? Kelly really enjoyed it, but it was awesome. I came out of there the first day, I was like, this is awesome, I can't wait to come back tomorrow. So it was really good. So hopefully we'll see some of those results of things that we, you know, input in the next couple of years. So another item I have, Simons Park Disc Golf. We did get underway with that. So with some assistance from DPW and their mini excavator, we started on the first 2 tee pads that are on the front hill at Simons Park, and our staff's gone out and purchased the paving stones, created the forms, and they are working on them now. Our hope is to get those 2 done before we get any kind of hard frost or snow, and then even get the holes dug for the baskets, which we're waiting on, kind of going between two vendors and seeing who's going to give me the best price for the baskets, very similar baskets, and we'll get the holes dug for the first two baskets. And then as the winter allows, if the weather is cooperative, we'll be able to, put more pads in. So that, excuse me, that is moving forward. I'm going to save the next item, the cargo van, until a little later. We'll do that in old business. And then just the last thing, as you approved money for the culture assessment in the department, that did begin a couple weeks back with meetings with all of our staff, and the anonymous survey, followed up with an anonymous survey, which is out there now, which concludes on Friday. And so we look forward to getting results back from that in early December. And there will be one more meeting with the Berry and Dunn, the company that was doing the assessment, with our staff to discuss what they have found and look for solutions, and have them, come up with some solutions on how to make some areas that they may have identified better, and way to be, ensure that we're welcoming as a department, and we're, somewhere where people want to work.
Excellent. Any questions for Brendan on his report? Commissioner Brooks?
Just a question on the program audit. What's the scope and intent that we're looking for, just to understand usage based on offering, a reprogramming look? I guess I'm trying to figure out what the end state of the audit is for this first round.
For the program audit?
Correct.
Oh, the program audit, we'll be looking at really what we're offering, and, is that meeting the needs? Are we offering the right things? Are we offering things because we like it and we're wasting money on it, right? So really looking at getting a better handle on our finances as a whole, and making sure that our spending is appropriate, and that we're, there's reasons that sometimes we're going to do programs just because it's the right thing to do, right? Sure. But if that's how we look at all of our programs, it might not be the right thing to do, where we're subsidizing. So we don't want to subsidize all of the programs.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Just a quick comment on the Burlington Players portion of your report, when we were talking about the bathroom design. I recall when I sat on the school committee, we had an issue with, we were looking at the expansion of Varsity Field, or renovation of Varsity Field, maybe putting in a field house, and the state requirements for the number of toilets are based upon, like, Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
And we could not possibly comply with that requirement, but there is a waiver process. And I remember the building inspector helped us go through that waiver process. So if that comes up at any of your meetings, you might want to ask them if they can look into a waiver that might cut back on the cost of their renovation project.
I'm sure they had a culture shock when they heard what it was going to cost. It's crazy, the cost of everything. Any other questions for Brendan? Okay. Kelly, your report, please.
Thank you. One of the bigger projects that we've been working on, as far as the open space and recreation facility assessment we're working on, cooperating with Weston and Sampson on, is that overlook drawing or conceptual plan for the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, which we'll be applying for in January. As part of the application process, we are required to provide proof of community engagement. So after conversations with Weston and Sampson, we will be asking for community engagement at the tree lighting, where we have a large group of people that we're able to access, and they're there, and they can stop by our tent and give us some feedback, not only on the Overlook project, but the universally accessible playground at Simons Park as well. So we have conceptual drawings for both of those at this point. I think that Weston and Sampson has done a great job taking our feedback and looking at what we believe fits best within both of those facilities, and putting a good product out for the community to get a look at beforehand. So if you're coming to the tree lighting, or if you want to give community feedback, come to the tree lighting, and just stop by our tent, and you'll get to see the conceptual plans for both, and give us some feedback there, and that's really what's going to drive the plans for those two facilities moving forward. So we are excited about that opportunity, and hope that we get more than we would if we just did it at a public meeting or a setting like this. Excuse me, Chairman.
No, Commissioner Collins.
Kelly, if somebody can't attend
Yeah.
the tree lighting, or, where else can they give that input? Is there going to be a survey? Is there going to be something online?
We
I know
talked
that's
about adding this, we had a meeting with them today, and we talked about adding some sort of survey that we could either leave out at our office or put online, and we didn't finalize any of that information, but that is part of our thought process of, if you can't come here, can you fill this out? So hopefully in the next week or so, once we've gone through the tree lighting piece of it, we'll be able to put a link out and just leave some paper copies at the office for people to fill out as well.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. We recently had our winter program registration on November 16th at 6 o'clock for Burlington residents, and it was a successful registration. Once again, the evening registration seems to work for a lot of people. I think we're going to kind of stay in that vein for quite some time. It does require that we have our staff stay on site for a couple hours in the evening to answer phone calls or handle glitches. So we are very thankful for our team members who were able to stay every night, but on the 16th as well, just to be able to help out and mitigate any problems that might pop up. So we just want to publicly thank them for that. And then we have had a couple special events. Well, we've had a special event. Well, the turkey trot was held on the 19th. It was on a Sunday up here. We had over 200 runners register for this year's event, which is the largest we've seen so far. So we're really excited about that. We were able to partner with Fit Girls once again, which is a program run through Burlington Youth and Family Services. And it is a program for girls that talks about a lot of things: fitness, wellness, body image issues, those kinds of topics. And it's a 6-week program, and it ends, it culminates with our race in November. And it's always a fun time to see the girls, their family members, their coaches, whomever running in the race. We also partnered this year with a running club at Francis Wyman Elementary School as well, which we were excited about, adding more kids to the race itself. It definitely gives a different vibe when you see all these little kids coming through and, top 10 finishers in that range. So we did adjust this year our medals and our awards to reflect that as well. We used to have like 13 and under, and that just didn't really work for us. So we changed that a little bit to be able to award those runners a little more. And as I said, our tree lighting will be this Sunday. We will have a lot of fun on the common. We'll have a choral group come and sing. We have annual fireworks at that event. Santa does arrive and lights all the trees on the common for the holiday season. We'll have some inflatables, a great big slide, all kinds of fun stuff starting at 4 o'clock on the common. So there's that as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. Any questions for Kelly?
Just one, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Kelly, on the plans for Simons and Overlook, would those be available electronically, either on our website, or could you email them to us?
I can email them to you. We're also going to upload them on the website. We were just waiting to
Perfect.
get through the tree lighting before we do
Great,
that, but I can
thank you.
send them out for sure.
Kelly, maybe you guys on Sunday can like, I know you guys haven't come up with a plan, but like you could just give out like maybe you have pamphlets available with our website, you know, we have our symbol and maybe, yeah, just somewhere they could access, because
Nick is stick with the phone.
it's crazy during that whole. When Santa comes, it gets all, so that's when, you know,
15 people deep.
it's a great idea, it's awesome, and I think that to get the grant, it's very important. But like you said, there'd probably be a line for people doing that stuff, so.
We definitely can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome, but great job. It's always a great event. Commissioner Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, my only concern is that we don't get enough public involvement.
Yeah.
Everybody's so busy at this time of year, and I know January is the deadline for getting information or evidence in. But I think we ought to have maybe a special meeting, invite the public, post it, tell them we want to talk about the Overlook Park, maybe have some draft plans and schematics and get people to engage with us that way. You know, and kind of book something special. I think that's important for a project of this size, and it helps, I think, get buy-in from the town meeting when they see that we had an opportunity for the public to come, and they had a meeting, people could watch it at home, and then if they have comments or concerns about the proposal, they can get in touch with us as commissioners and say, hey, what about this idea, or what about that idea? But I think it should be televised. I think we should definitely have a meeting, a special meeting maybe, or maybe devote an hour of one of our regular meetings and just have as many people as hopefully will show up for this. It's a big project. But that's my concern. I just want to get as much community engagement as we can.
Well, and that was our concern as well, which is why we brought it to the tree lighting, where we know we're going to get thousands of people in a smaller time frame, right? I'm not saying we can't do a meeting or we shouldn't, like, that's not it, right? But the thought was, when we do offer these meetings, oftentimes it's 5 or 6 people who show up, right? So we were trying to capture the most engagement as we could, right? Like, for the initial conceptual, like, this is where we think we might want to go with these 2 facilities. But
Sure. No, I
we
don't
can
think-
certainly do it. We can certainly do a meeting as well. And, you know, I think the larger engagement for the grant piece is important.
Yeah.
And then we can say we're also going to have meetings at this point, right? Like, we're not tied specifically to this one event. It just is a large event, and it will capture a lot of data for us for the grant, for the purposes of the grant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Through the chair, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good start. But I think we need to get the plans up on the screens, because people watch these, and if they know that this is something important, a lot of town meeting members will watch it, get information from it, and that's how they get their information.
So we do have a conceptual plan, but that's not, again, you know, the final, and we're going to get that feedback, and they're going to tweak it based on feedback and our feedback. So I think at that point might be a good idea to get, because that still probably won't be the final, right? We'll have opportunities to tweak it a little bit more, but I think after we get this initial feedback based on timing, that we can then get those up, you know, get them to BCAT. Maybe, you know, BCAT does a good job getting information out, getting it out on obviously our social media as well. If we can have some type of survey that people can go to after the tree lighting that might not attend the tree lighting or might not be able to make it, that we leave it open for a little while, because we do have to put an end to when we capture some of that data for the grant, but give the people an opportunity at home to do that. So.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to put a plug in the next school committee meeting during the subcommittee reports. Excuse me, if you have the QR code or any slide you want to put up, I can put that in the deck. At least we'll get a little more exposure to. If you'd like to do that, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Kelly. And Chairman's report, I don't have anything. Not anything out on the agenda right now. Soon to come. Any subcommittee reports? New business, Brendan.
I don't have any new business, but I do have some old business.
Okay. Old business.
All right. So as we've discussed at our past couple meetings, our passenger van was taken out of service due to not being safe on the road anymore, so it wasn't gonna pass an inspection at the end of, or in October, so it was taken off the road. And I recently met with our Ways and Means Subcommittee at the request of the Assistant Town Administrator to discuss what our potential is and share the Commission's belief that we should go for a warrant article at January town meeting, even though that's not the time for financial articles. I shared with them some information that we gathered regarding the need for a van, as well as our, how much we would need it for and the cost to rent one. So we looked at 3 different dealerships at their daily, weekly, and 2 of them have monthly rates, and what they would do. None of them could commit to a full month rental of a van for, they're booking out, what did they say, January, February now for vans, or summer. So we looked at the cost from a few different ones. Some of them are charging per mile. Some are giving you 100 miles a day or 75 miles a day and then charge you per mile after that. The thing with our needs is that there's 23 individual days during the year that we need a van for just a one-day event, right? Then we have two separate weeks where we need it for a week-long rental, and then there's 5 months where we need it for the straight 5 months for events. So after our discussion with our subcommittee, they agreed that it was something that we should proceed with this for January town meeting. We do have to have the warrant request in by December 8th. So this all came about yesterday. I met with them yesterday morning. So I would like to request that the commission vote to proceed with a warrant article for May town meeting, for January town meeting, in the amount of $50,000 to purchase a Ford T250 Transit van.
Is that a good number that we can vote on?
Yes, right now, and we're looking 4 to 6 months. So if we had to wait until, if it's not approved and we can't go back until May town meeting, we're looking at 4 to 6 months from there. So best case scenario, October, November, or, worst case after into 2025. And we'd have to fund it out of our budget. So this is going to, the estimate I have is for about $47,000, and that's including an increase that they are expecting to go to as 2024 starts. So $50,000 should cover it. I've had conversations with Central Maintenance, and they said $50,000 should cover it. Obviously, if it's less, we turn it back to the town.
Excellent. Can I have a motion for $50,000 for Ford T250 cargo van for January town meeting warrant article?
Motion.
Did I say that right?
Yep.
I would just.
Motion by Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Yeah.
second.
I will second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Nelson.
It's an
Comments?
amount not to exceed 50,000.
Amount not to
Yeah.
exceed 50,000. Just before we vote on it, I would say, Brendan, and we talked, if we were to rent a van, it would be almost like $1,700 a week. So
A month, yes.
A month, or
So we'd
whatever.
be
Which is
looking
crazy
at.
money, though, and then all the other stuff we would have to pay for. So, and if we order it for January, we would hopefully get it for our summer programs. Everything takes so long now. That's why everything is so critical, I think, for us to get this moving forward for January town meeting. That's how I feel. I don't know how anybody. Yeah,
Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman,
Nelson.
one quick comment. I just wanted to thank Brendan for jumping on this item, a meeting with the Ways and Means Subcommittee and explaining to them the pros and cons of waiting versus going forward in January, because it's not easy to get warrant articles in January, and you did a great job, and thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
I fully support the motion.
Any other questions? All right, we'll go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500, motion is approved. Thank you, Brendan. Is there any need for an executive session?
There is not.
Can we have, come up with our next meeting?
We do have one, we had agreed at December 13th, so it's
Okay,
2
December 13th.
Wednesdays from now, I believe.
Here?
Yes, it will be here. Yep,
Mr. Chairman, I'll just be virtual on that one.
okay.
Brendan, do you know when Ways and Means Committee, the full committee, is going to be voting on these various?
No, they were trying to figure out when that would be. It may be right after the first of the year,
Do
when
we
they
have to
come
go to
back.
capital budget as well on this?
I will find out. I'm sure if it's a financial article,
Yeah.
capital budget will get involved, yes. So we'll probably have to go there. As soon as I find those items out, I will share them with you.
Based upon your research, I have a strong idea that they're going to support it.
Yeah, and again, we understand that January is not the time to ask for financial articles, but we're hoping to get this. This was on our capital plan for '26. We're hoping to get another year out of it, but the rust and rot on the frame, it's just, they wouldn't allow us to, it wouldn't have passed inspection, and the town wouldn't have allowed us to put it back out on the road. So unfortunately, we do have to ask for it because it is a vital piece of equipment for our department for a number of reasons. So,
One more quick comment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. One other, just quick comment. This is, I think, Brendan, it's also an emergency item, and normally, that's what the Ways and Means Reserve Fund is for, is emergency transfers. But they don't like to do emergency transfers before they figure out what they're going to need for snow removal and things of that nature. So ordinarily, a lot of departments would just go before Ways and Means and say, this is an emergency, the truck broke down, it won't pass inspection. They would consider it in that fashion and not have to go to the town meeting. But we don't really have that option this year because of the timing of this whole event. So I think we'll do well in January. I know you're going to do a great job presenting it.
thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
So, motion to adjourn?
So made.
Commissioner Gaffney, second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Second, Commissioner Nelson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
500. This meeting is adjourned.
Good.